After the start of Russia's full-scale war against Ukraine, local residents began to leave Chechnya en masse. As human rights activists note, this is all because complaining about forced mobilization in the region has become useless. Main destinations for escape: European Union, Kazakhstan and Turkey.
They handed me a summons, but I didn't show up. They sent a second summons in autumn and came at my house. They told my mother, "If your son does not voluntarily go to war in Ukraine, we will take him away and torture him as best as we can, and only Allah knows whether he will return to you alive or not." Lars, refugee, in a comment to the Important Stories publication.
According to the opposition Chechen telegram channel NISO, from 10 to 15 Chechens are forcibly sent to fight against Ukraine every month. A public figure who wished to remain anonymous notes that most such cases remain unpublicized because people are afraid for their families.
I agree with the NISO activists that 100% has to be forced. Kadyrov's main task is to curry favor with Putin, to show that he is his most loyal foot soldier. He manages to achieve this not only by forced mobilization of Chechens, but he also brings people from all over Russia, passes them through the training center in Gudermes, that Special Forces Center, prepares units, supplies them at the expense of his Ahmad Foundation.
According to human rights activists, forcibly mobilized Chechens are divided into three groups. We are talking primarily about draft dodgers who run away from mobilization. In such cases, remaining other male relatives may be taken away. Then there are penalized soldiers who are accused of real or fabricated violations. And finally, the so-called guilty ones. These are opponents of the regime as well as relatives of oppositionists. The Echo publication notes that now there are no people left willing to go to war, so the troops are being replenished even by opponents of the leading clans, although at first they were not trusted with weapons.
Kadyrov took good advantage of this war. Firstly, by becoming a mouthpiece of war, he was able to rehabilitate himself in the eyes of Putin. This whole theater is for him. Secondly, this is a good opportunity to get rid of dissent, both locally and in mass. Most often, there is pressure on the family. Abubakar Yangulbayev, human rights activist, in a comment to the Important Stories publication. In the very first days, an elite part of the Russian army was killed near Kyiv. Among them were people from Kadyrov's inner circle. After this, he had such a reorientation to bring to Ukraine people disliked by the regime, those who are on the list of unreliable people, those who may have already served time in prison, have gone through 7 circles of hell.
Kadyrov regularly reports on allegedly being ahead of schedule for volunteers to participate in the war against Ukraine. In September 2022, he said that the plan had been exceeded by 254%, in 2023 by 1,500%, and by February 2024 even by 8,224%. Experts explain that if these figures are true, then they are based not only on mobilized Chechens, but also on all other peoples in Russia who are undergoing training in Chechnya. Reported by Diana Kulesnik, Nikita Skoblikov, UATV News.